it gets washed in there through, and the moisture is the carrier of the nutrients into the soil. I mean, I know it's getting warm, but take a lot for me to jump in the water yet. You guys probably haven't seen this, but I'm going to run them through the sheep handler. And now it's raining again. Good morning everyone, how are we going today? I'm just feeding a couple of mobs of sheep this morning, first thing. We're going to be weaning the stud lambs today. So we got them in yesterday afternoon, as you'll see. Lucen's looking pretty good. It's all greened up now. Moving along pretty well. I'm just getting a few rogues off here. I call them rogues, but it's pretty good stuff for Lucen, so I don't really blame them for wanting to be on here. So you'll notice that all the pellets are still on the ground. That's because it's not the actual pellet and it's not the actual powder that goes into the soil. It gets washed in there through, and the moisture is the carrier of the nutrients into the soil. So things like even a heavy fog of a morning will start to slowly release all the things in that pellet into the soil. So it might look like it hasn't done anything, but it has. That'll be there for a long time, but there'll be no value in it, nothing in it. So it'll eventually disappear. But no, it's looking really good, really healthy. Yeah, Max. I mean, I know it's getting warm, but take a lot for me to jump in the water yet. Maggie loves it. And so we got to give the lambs their second injection of 6-in-1. So it's sort of like your COVID vaccine. It's like a booster. They got one at marking, and then they'll get one at weaning. The ewes will get a drench, and it looks like they probably need a crutch. So that if you remember, the stud ewes get shorn in October, November, because they're too close to lambing when we shear everything else, and they're also way too fat at that time of the year. So firstly, we've got to draft the lambs off the ewes, because I'm going to run them through. You guys probably haven't seen this, but I'm going to run them through the sheep handler, vaccinate them, and probably, yeah, I'll give them a drench, and then I'll run the ewes too as well. But because the ewes are bigger than the lambs, we've got to adjust the height of it when the ewes come through. Otherwise I'd just run them through all at once, but yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I'll draft the ewes and lambs off first and get them sorted. Be interesting to show you this. I don't think just an immobiliser, it's not doesn't tip them over or anything. We'll weigh them too, weigh the lambs as they come through, and the ewes, see what the ewes are doing. And then yeah, this is just on a 3-way draft system here on the air. So sheep run up through here. There's a sensor just here that catches them, and then it clamps them. Might be a bit different to what you've seen. There's a few others that actually clamps them, and then you can tip them over, and it's a bit flasher than this one. But this is good for us. When we bought it, it was a lot cheaper than those ones. We've had this for a fair while now. I like to say 10 years, but that might be, we might not have had it that long. Sheep walk up onto this. And then when they put weight on that, closes that gate, and then they can't push backwards. It's been good to us. We're looking to upgrade, especially with the electronic tags in our stud ewes now. We're looking to sort of upgrade and integrate the panel readers into the immobiliser. So there's a reader on the handler, and then that connects to the weigh scales and things. I don't want anyone else, 'cause I know there's not anyone else that makes me feel the way you do. It's easy to prove I don't want anyone else but you.
I don't want anyone else, 'cause I know there's not anyone else that makes me feel the way you do. It's easy to prove I don't want anyone else but you. I don't want anyone else, 'cause I know there's not anyone else that makes me feel the way you do. It's easy to prove I don't want anyone else but you. I don't want anyone else but you.
All done there now. Got them all needled and drenched. We're just going to take them away now, put them in their paddock. We're going to keep them in the rams and ewes just until they get over their mums. They're a lot easier to keep in one mob then, and we know where to look for them. So once they're weaned, then we'll bring them back and draft them, and then they can go their separate ways then. But that worked pretty well. Dad was just pushing them up to me, and I was just standing here. When they see their mates go through, they generally just follow their last one, which is good. Weighed them too, they're averaging sort of 35 kilos, 35, 40 kilos, which is good. Dad said once they get to that, they're sort of 12, 14 weeks old at least, and the odd small one we just let back with their mum. But yeah, the minimum age would be 12 to 14 weeks, and once they get to that age, they're sort of not getting a hell of a lot of benefit off their mum's milk. With the way the season is, I think we can do a better job on them off their mums and let their mums pick up condition again before joining. So, which will sort of be December. No, they're all right. They're a little bit noisy now, but the sooner we get them away from their mums, the sooner they'll stop thinking about them and think about their bellies more. So, don't know whether it's going to rain or not. I'm just sitting down here to try and, there's a fork in the road and we want them to go that way. So I'm just sitting down here because they'll probably take off being weaned lambs. They'll just, yeah, go silly for a little while, but we'll just put them in a paddock here and keep an eye on them for a couple of days. Probably put a bit of grain out for them. They should know what that is because we've been feeding them on their mums. And yeah, quieten them down a little bit. So there we marked a couple, probably 7 or 8 lambs that must have missed their marking day, the buggers. They're obviously not where they were meant to be. It's what stock will generally do, is wander the boundary, see if there's any holes they can get out. Cattle definitely do, sheep sort of less so, I think. Well, they seem to anyway. Those fellas already got their mouths down eating. Here. So we're just going to drench the ewes now with a bit of duo care, low volume, plus selenium. We just went in and had some lunch because it was raining, and then it cleared up, and now it's raining again. Hey, so I'm remembering now to put the camera under cover before it gets in the microphone. Here, Maggie. Here, Max, get up here. Here, Max. Here, Maggie. Here, Max. Here, Max. Here, Max. Good girl. Go back. Go back. Go back. Get what? Go back. That's that job done. Just put the ewes up there in that paddock then. They went straight out of the yards up there. Do a bit of a shuffle around in a couple of days once they're both over each other. So some of the ewes have gone, most of the ewes have gone up the paddock for a feed. They might come back at some point during the night to call for their lamb, but just have them around sort of where we can keep an eye on them for a couple of days, so that if they do any escapees, we know where they are. Hello. Hey, Puss. This is Cecil. He seems to like helping in the yards. He's a pretty cool cat. Here's a few calvies. he's doing. So you can see it's come back pretty well. Ooh. Hello. That'd be good for a cow's foot. A little bit patchy, but in spots, especially in this lower lying bit here where I suppose it was a bit heavier last year and there's a bit more trash on the ground. It's looking pretty healthy though. Great colour. But yeah, hopefully we'll make a bit of silage out of this, and then we'll probably direct drill some brassica straight in and fatten some more lambs, I think. We'll see how we go getting it off though. It might just keep raining. But it's looking good. We'll hit it with some urea in the coming weeks when it gets a little bit bigger probably, and when the weather's really warmed up, when that average temperatures come up. So anyway guys, hope you enjoyed that, and with that we'll catch you in the next one. Alrighty, see ya, bye. The stare off is happening. Maggie lost. Mags! Mags!
Easy to prove.